even including behavioral type risk in the company. So I think it's, they have to definitely be a person with a little more adaptability to operate outside the finance department, and work in different areas.
Right. Now, how are those disruptive forces that you mentioned earlier on in the conversation impacting the priorities of the CFO function?
I think it's, those disruptive forces are really affecting the plan, the basic strategic planning of the company, and usually a CFO is integrally involved in that planning business, so they're having to, it's really addressing, things that you were with Thanksgiving, having to readjust your plan on a more regular basis, and a revetting of the basic assumptions that are in your business plan. That's certainly one thing. I think it's also trying to make sure you can identify correctly the implications of those disruptive forces. Sometimes it's not as bad as you think it is, and sometimes it is worse than you think it is. But, having to, sometimes it takes a while to become clear what the implications are.
Right.
And you have to have those discussions, you have regular management discussions on those issues.
Mm-hmm. Who are the teams or members of the C-suite who act as stewards for an organizational change at the highest level?
Of course, the CEO would be there. In our organization, you probably saw it mostly in product management, because they're the ones kind of looking at the future products. You're also seeing it in sales. I guess I could take examples of every C-suite person. The HR guys seen it, and here are the kind of people I'm being requested to give, and we're not able to find these people. What do I do? Manufacturing is constantly looking at, well, if I can't make this thing competitively here, where can I make it competitively, or is there some other way to do it where I can buy this stuff overseas and assemble it here? Pretty much all of them. IT, of course, is seeing it. At least in my experience, it's really I can't think of anybody that's not involved in that.
Mm-hmm. How is the CFO position relative to those other roles to drive those transformation decisions?
The CFO is a unique position. My office was in a suite next to the CEO. That's whether people are physically laid out that way or not. That's sort of what most people think of the CFO and the CEO. My job was, I would keep more than half of my time just available to work with the CEO on company priorities. So that's how I sort of leveraged the CFO position, because I had my organization staffed where, I had people that could run the day-to-day, and I'd only get involved in issues and things like that, because I was really much more heavily involved in strategy and execution of plans. And when things weren't going right, that's usually where I'd be.
Right. Could you share a couple examples of challenges you see the CFO facing in the next 2-3 years? So really, I'm asking, what are the biggest areas where CFOs may need help right now? We've talked about, the change in products. I think the legal landscape is changing quite a bit, and the level of responsibility, for corporate governance and proper corporate governance decisions. CFO, especially for a public company, if you're not training your sales guys on Foreign Corrupt Practices Act and antitrust, and so people making decisions with corporate values in hand,